I know you didn't think you would see me today. What's up, Leandra? I usually don't do Mondays, but something exciting happened on the wall, and I wanted to do this before um, it became old news. And the young man that posted it's probably not going to be too happy with my analysis of what he had to say, but have I ever cared about stuff like that? No, because I feel like if you come on my channel and you say something off the wall and crazy, then you just got to take whatever comes with that. You brave enough to post it. You got to be brave enough to suffer any and all repercussions that come from this mouth and this head, as well as everybody else that comes on the channel that's going to have a thought about it. So, what I'm going to do first, the format is going to be this. So he made like a long post. I broke it up into, different slides. I'm going to go through the whole thing first. Okay, so you get to hear the entire post in its entirety. Excuse me, I've been suffering with some kind of bug for the last couple of days. But it's, we're going to go through the whole thing first. Then on a, like, I don't know, block by block basis, we can talk about it and, share your thoughts and experiences, and I'll share mine on what he has to say. So let's go through it first, slide by slide. Okay, wait, something happened here. Okay, basically what he's doing is he's responding. His comment is under this video. And a lot of men had a problem with this video when I talked about alpha women and how they're different from the women who believe in submission and obedience and king leading and men. When you're dealing with an alpha woman, you're not gonna get none of that unless she decides for whatever reason she just feels like doing it in that moment. But if you go into a relationship with an alpha woman expecting obedience and submission and stuff, you just gonna get your feelings hurt. It's not really gonna happen because she's gonna feel like, well, she's fully qualified to do any and everything that you do, except father a child. But you don't have any eggs, and she doesn't have the other part either. So that really would be all that she would need you for. But this guy had a real serious problem with women not needing men. Now, as we've discussed for the last month or so, I mean, there's plenty of male psychologists and social researchers and therapists and learned educator males who have come to this conclusion that women don't need men. So why men are fighting, because I said it in this video, notice this was made in 2018. I'm always ahead of the curve. And, I was talking about the stuff that they're talking about now in 2018. So it's kind of interesting to me that I'm always a jump ahead, but wait until you hear it. You see, you'll see what he has to say about it. Okay, this is a pull from it. He has since gone back and edited it. I didn't look at the new version, but this was the original post as I saw it. So he says, no men are getting mad about a woman being successful or smart. We get mad about women being cruel towards men and not giving them the time of day unless they are popular with other women and have status or financial power. Get with it. We don't like a user, someone who receives and never gives, which is what women do when they receive and use men and don't give in return. Women don't like men for who they are, but for what they are. No man wants a leech. And all of these women who say they don't need a man basically proves that they date men. I'm going to be correcting some of what he wrote. Notice there's not too much punctuation here. There's no real sentences. It's block text, so I'm trying to break it apart as best I can. Okay, so he says, no man wants a leech, and all of these women who say they don't need a man basically prove that they date men more in the first place. It's for financial stability. And then when they don't date men, they work and stay single, which proves my point even more. Women just use men. And if men don't have anything to give women, they ditch men because women don't like men. Okay, remember, we're going to come back to all of this. So make notes if you have comments. Make notes because we're going to go ahead of this. We're going to go into this again later. Well, why do you think women say, I don't need a man? What do you think women are talking about when they say that phrase? They mean they don't want a man as a provider. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to provide for yourself. But in saying that, you're telling men that you don't like them for who they are as a person and that you only date them because they can give to you. And what makes me mad is not that you want to provide for yourself, but the very fact that you just want us for resources and don't want us as a person. Okay, dude, you don't want us for our flaws or anything that doesn't involve status or power. How about this? If you really love a man, date him for him and not because he has a good paying job or because he's good at getting a bunch of girls or because he's the talk of the town. Stop using men and treat men like human beings. This man writing this quote, and he's talking about a quote that was in the video, the original video on Alpha Women I'm talking about. The man writing this quote about women doesn't know women. He's a female worshiper because he wants to pamper a woman and work for her and give her free things. That's not a man being in control of a woman. In fact, that's the total opposite. That's putting women in control because he has to bribe her to keep her around. This man loves women, and most men are female worshipers. They will do anything to get the girl. And if that means bribing women and building status and trashing other men to get the girl, that's what guys will do. But honestly, respect a woman more who works for herself and says that she doesn't need a man because she's number one, honest, and number two, she doesn't want to bum off a man. Does it suck that women don't like men and only get with men when he can provide things for her? Yes, but it's better for women to tell, okay, it's better for women to tell men how terrible they are as human beings than to use them and lie to them by saying that they love men when they don't. That's how women are. I see you guys like kind of bucking your eyes over there. Be ready. Okay, so we're gonna go through this twisted, convoluted, back and forth, illogical nonsense in a minute. Now, the thing that bothers me the most is that, um, as we know, those of us who spend, quite a bit of time on the internet in different social media platforms, especially if you go to Clubhouse or, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, you see a lot in Reddit. You see a lot of men who are furious at women for denying them what they want, for denying them access to their bodies, to their time, to their energy. They want women to step up and take care of them, baby them, and help them. This crosses all racial, race and ethnicity, uh, whatever I'm trying to say. It's not limited to any one race. I guess that's the best way to put it. But what I'm saying is that when you have, like I said, you have learned men who happen to be mostly white, but some black ones too, that are observing the behavior of young men. And those men are even saying that these dudes don't have anything to offer women. They're telling their daughters these men don't have nothing to offer you. Make sure you have your own stuff. Then if you want to mess around with one of them, whatever, make sure you get a prenup. So if he gonna leave with them hush puppies on in that backpack, just like he came, he's not gonna be leaving with your stuff. So, parents are even advising their daughters in this. They can see that their sons are cut from a different cloth. They're not real ambitious. They want to play video games all day. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to work. And they want to figure out some kind of way to, hook a girl and live off of her, live with her, not do their chores around the house and basically be taken care of like a child. I personally, and I've been saying this for the last 20 years, believe that they should reinstitute the draft. Once the draft went out and boys did not have to learn how to be away from their mothers, be independent, to make decisions, to be part of a team, to be responsible and accountable for the decisions they make, the society has gone to hell in a handbasket. I mean, it's nice that it's volunteer and we, probably have some reasonably good people involved in that. But the people who are in the armed services tend to be people who don't have the best education and the best options for a career. So they look at that as a way out. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're going to have people, making decisions about the military, we need people who are educated. We need people with high IQs. We need people with high EQs. Those people tend to not have to go to the armed forces because they're, in school or doing whatever, in some trade or something like that, and going on about their business. So what you're going to have is, it's not evenly divided. I mean, it's a certain type of person that's going into the military, but we need all the young men to go into it. All of them. All of them need to do a stint in the military like they do in Korea. Every single able-bodied young man has to do 2 years of military service in Korea, in South Korea, that is, between the ages of 21 and 30. Is it 21 and 35? Something like that. I think it's 21 to 30. Somewhere in there, you have to sign up for your 2-year period in the service. So they all are prepared to fight to fight an enemy invader. Everybody knows how to use weapons. Everybody knows how to follow orders. They all know, just basic self-defense, hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. And I think, it makes them tougher. It makes them feel more confident. And it makes them know that they can defend their home and their country. Don't you think that would give young men kind of a sense of pride? Our guys don't have that. And I'm telling you, I know it was a political hot potato. I was young and I remember the battles about Vietnam War and all that stuff. But I'm saying that I really think some serious consideration when we're dealing with this issue, of the boys not stepping up and not being the men that we need them to be, they should really reconsider reinstituting the draft. That is my statement, and I will stick to it. Don't have no backbone, don't have nothing. They just want to act stupid. And so this energy, the male energy to do battle and all this, conquer and all this kind of stuff, that gets beat out of them in the military. You go on a 50-mile march with an 80-pound backpack, your behind is going to be too tired to talk smack to anybody and do anything. You're going to be looking for the nearest cot so you can get some sleep, and that kind of stuff. They're not teaching that anymore. So I think would solve a lot of these problems. And it would get them, 5 years is even better. I agree. Because in Korea it's 2. I think here it should be 5 because they just don't have it. They just don't have what it takes. The part that we look for to see as men, they don't have it. They're soft. Their bodies are soft from sitting. They have bad posture from sitting on the couch doing like this, into a screen. Their eyes are bad. They don't have any muscle tone. They can't run a block. I mean, they can't fight. They can't do nothing. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They don't do anything useful for a woman or that would be good in a relationship. So let's go back into these slides. Okay. Let's go on to this. Okay, we're going to do this one by one, and I will invite you, if you have a comment to make, try not to make them too long. Please, call in and share whatever you think about what we're talking about. Yeah, they have hips, girl. They have more hips than you and have moves too. I think they feel like manhood is too hard, and that's why they want to be women. So many of them are trying to be women now. I think that they realize that they fail at manhood, and there's only womanhood left. So here they come. But okay, so let's start with what this little guy is talking about. So he says, we get mad about women being cruel towards men and not giving them the time of day unless they are popular with other women and have status or financial power. Okay. I'm going to say wrong, because who doesn't have to have men who are good looking. And you know why men who are good looking can get women? It's a DNA thing. Because if a guy is tall, he's well built, his features are even, his spine is straight, his leg lengths are, pretty good, his arm length to leg length ratio is good. He has a strong jawline, he has clear eyes, he's got a nice balanced features on his face. That indicates to us on a cellular level that this person would produce strong children. It's nothing that we're even conscious of. You don't look at him and think, oh my God, I want to breed with him. But your body does. Your body says this would be a good person to father a child and perpetuate the human race. Now, in contrast, you see a guy who's short, misbuilt, funny looking, face is all uneven, got super bad eyes, horrible posture. He's got no muscle tone, them little narrow shoulders that look worse than a girl's shoulders. I mean, I'm not saying the guys can help it. They have learning disabilities, all this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm saying you got that and you can work with it, but you just gonna be mad for a long time if you going after women that are not eights, nines, and tens. They're not gonna pick you. They're not gonna pick you because you're not at the top of the heap where they are. They can get men who are in the eights, nines, and tens. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Get in where you fit in. Okay. If you a dude who's a six, admit that you a six. Look at yourself. Look at what you offered. You don't have no money. You barely made it out of high school. You look like a troll. You misbuilt like Shrek. And then you sitting up there talking mad because no one wanted to give you the time of day. Well, what you doing to fix yourself up? What are you doing to make yourself competitive with other men? Are you going back to school? Are you learning a trade? Are you doing something so that you add some money to your bank account? No woman wants to go out with a dude that don't have no money. Then that means she got to come out of pocket. Now, I mean, admittedly, some of these girls do because they show be coming right to this column talking about all the bills they pay and all that stuff, but they know it's wrong. They don't feel good in the relationship. No woman wants that. So if you don't have anything to offer women, don't have no financial power, you don't have no good looks, and you don't have a good body, and you don't have any kind of status, what in the world would she get in a relationship with you for? What do you have? Let's be realistic here. You ain't offering nothing. You're nothing to her, okay? She's not going to look at you because there's nothing to look at. It's like a peacock. The peacock, the male peacock is the one with all the feathers and everything, the bright colors. The female's kind of plain. But you know who gets her attention? The dude that's got that plumage working. For women, adult human women, plumage is money, height, good looks, physical strength, and education, a good conversation, something that stimulates her mentally. Goals and dreams and stuff that he's working on, something that she can respect and admire about the man. So he's not looking at any of that. He's only looking at the fact that, he's, I guess, not that cute or something. You know what I mean? For them to have all this angst, he must fit into this category. That's all I can say. He must fit into this category because for me, when men talk about stuff like, about other, I don't look like I don't take it personally because you ain't talking about me because I already know I'm super fly. So there's no reason for me to get in my feelings about it. You ain't talking about me. But he took this so personally and just with this tirade, it was just unbelievable. Yes, personality too. Good sense of humor, good conversation, this kind of stuff. Okay, so there we go. That explained that. Anyone have a comment about this? Anyone got a comment? Because, sometimes dudes don't have that much money and may not even look that cute. But his personality, he makes you laugh. He's funny. He's insightful. He's smart as hell. He knows stuff. He's always got something witty and brilliant to say, great insight. He's just, when you bring him around people, they enjoy talking to him and being around him. So he might not have as much money. He might not look that cute, but he makes up for it with this other things that he offers. There's social benefits to being with this man. And it's not that he has status. It's that he is a person who brings joy into your life, happiness, and it makes you feel good when you're around him. A lot of dudes don't know how to do that either because they just sit there and wait to be entertained, not understanding that women are looking for you to bring something positive to her life. It doesn't have to be this limited to the things that he says here. But if you ain't bringing nothing, then there's no reason for a woman to give you a second look. Okay, so he says, we won't give him no time of day. And that's right, we won't. Because you're not offering us nothing. There's no benefit to you being in our life. It's a benefit for us to be in yours because you think you're going to get some cootie cat. But there's no benefit to you in being in our life because you're not bringing us nothing that's going to benefit us in any way. So think about that. If you get in a relationship, well, how do you benefit that girl? If you can't think of nothing, then stop thinking about being in a relationship until you get your stuff together. Okay? Oh my God. Can we just get people? You make a man. See, let me just show this. I love a man who can make me. I do too. when they have those little, they do these little one-liners. Like I saw this on TikTok, this one couple, Destiny, and what's her husband's name? I don't know. I can't remember what his name is. But she put some like Christmas lights in her hair. It was one of those little reels, right? Christmas lights in her hair. And so then he comes and he's looking at it and he's just cracking up. And he says, "This is why I like you, because you always stay lit." Get it? Such a pun. I fell out laughing, and so did she. You have a man who can, make you laugh and bring lightheartedness and joy into your life like that. You never going anywhere. What you got to say, Tata?
Hi Deb, how are you?
I'm fine. What's going on? What's your thought on this topic thus far?
I'm glad that you're having this live stream to begin with. I saw that you have posted on your Instagram account, so I flew over. But about the topic, men and males, meaning like teenagers and possibly younger, they're growing up and are very entitled, and they feel like they don't have to compete or work for anything, and that includes like obtaining like relationships and women, and that's why we have all of these like these communities, like for one, Insta and so forth. And I I don't know. It's like it starts with their diet. They don't work out like that, and then the ones that do, it's like it's just overall, it has to do with the entitlement. Like they feel like they don't have to work for anything. Like things have to be handed to them because they're a man, they have a job, and like that's
Right.
it. You know?
I have a car. I have my own place.
Yeah, very
I have
basic.
a
Yeah,
job.
and then they have the nerve to like ask us on a date and then want to go Dutch and say like they do take us on a date, they pay for it, and the chemistry isn't there, and you try to like break it to them like gentle and say, oh, you know what, it's not working, thanks for taking me out. They want to curse you out and say, oh well, you owe me this amount of money and so on. So it's just really bad out there for women that want something that's really substantial from men, and even younger like ladies that want to like date. It's because of their attitudes.
I agree. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You're right. Okay, and those were
Mhm.
good points that you brought up. Thank you. Okay, let's get you, Janine. What you got to say?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hmm.
Hey, so it's I thought it was showing up as Jim Doll again. I changed it back, but I guess it's still showing up as Janine. But hey Deb and hey everybody.
What's up?
Um I just wanted to say that it's just they're just so lazy. Lazy in every avenue of their lives. Lazy in their personal lives, lazy in their work lives. And I've just never seen anything quite like it. Just lazy and soft bodies. We mentioned this already, kind of talking about this epidemic with these men walking around here with these childbearing hips and big old butts. I see them in the gym every day. And I'm like, if y'all put as much effort into standing around and talking in the gym, if you put that effort into actually working out, y'all can see the results y'all want to see. I
Yep.
was in there the other day and I'm working out. I'm up there lifting weights, and it's like five of them. All of them look like childbearing women standing around gossiping for like an hour. And I'm like, bro, y'all ain't lifting no weights. Just in here for like an hour, just yapping off. But we're the ones that talk all the time. They are some emotional, man. I cannot. Just so it's just the laziness for me. Like it's always they go from one extreme to the next. So it's like if you try to tell them, hey, I'm not happy with the way the dates have been going, and I really want to see you put in some effort, then they go complete left and like, oh well, you expect me to take you out and spend all this money? No. Nobody said you had to take me and get me a 5-star meal, but I expect you to put in some effort. You guys are boring. You're
Yeah.
lazy and you're boring.
Yeah. They don't have anything. They sit there and look at you and expect you to carry on the weight of the conversation, the weight of the relationship, to spend your money to drive your car. It's like, okay, well, if I'm doing all that, what do I need you here for? We're going to get into that a little bit more too. Thanks, girl. Those are all good points that I didn't even think about. Forgot about them. The fat gym crew.
Girl, I cannot. I know they're gonna be in there tomorrow, and I'll be running right past them.
Oh, you crazy. Talk to you later. Oh, okay. Let's get you, Van Ely. What's your comment on this? Got to unmute your mic. There
Can you
you
hear me?
go. Yeah, now we can.
Okay, sorry about that. So I just wanted to add on to the points that Gem Doll made and the previous caller made. So I go to the gym as well. I've been a weightlifter for probably 10 years now, not competitively anymore, just kind of just keeping myself in shape. And I have to agree, every time I go to the gym, just men laying up all over everything, gossiping, talking, sitting in the manager's office, talking to the manager, talking to the personal trainers, but not actually doing anything. And then
But see,
so,
what it is, see, this is the thing. It's like when you go to the gym, it's the weights just absorb into your body because you're in that. It's atmospheric. So
yep.
you absorb the muscles just because you're in the space.
Oh,
That's the thing.
absolutely. I want to add on another thing is that I noticed that a lot of men are doing now is lying about what little accomplishments they've made in their lives.
What do you mean?
So, just to add like a short story here. So, I dated a single dad for about 5 months, roughly, barely 5 months, even about 2 years ago. And we had been friends for a couple of years previously, and he seemed like just a wonderful human being. He had a kid. Like he was just this like kind, loving, genuinely wonderful person. Get cut to dating him, and he was horrible. Like he lied about pretty much everything. He was in the National Guard, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I've done this. I won all these awards." He didn't win anything.
Oh,
He couldn't even shoot
wow.
a gun for crepe's sakes. And I'm like, bro, have you ever, are you actually in the military? Like, I'm honestly questioning it now. Are you actually in the National Guard? Because I have questions. Because I have friends in the National
Inquiring
Guard.
minds want to know.
I have cousins in the Navy. I have friends that are former Marines. And I'm like, dude, you don't seem like a military person whatsoever. And then so fast forward to us dating. And I find out that, okay, so I'm a burgeoning software developer. I've been training myself, like self learning, for about 2.5 years. And one day I was working on some code and he's like, "Hey, let me take a look at this for you." And I'm like, "Why? You went to school for theology. Like you don't know anything about coding." And he's like, "Well, let me just critique it for you." And I'm like, "You don't know anything about coding. What do you want to critique? What are you critiquing here? I have like a trainer and
Wow.
like a teacher for that. I don't need you here." And I'm like, so no, please, I don't want your input because I just don't feel it would be of any real value here because you don't understand how to code." And then it comes out later on, towards the end of our relationship, that he dropped out of computer science and switched to theology because it was easier for him and he didn't actually have to do half of the work to get the degree.
Oh, boy.
And on top of that, he lied about being the type of dad that he was. Like he portrayed he was a great dad. He was neglectful emotionally and physically, never hugged his son. I'm pretty sure he never even told him he loved him. And I'm like, that's horrifying. Like that's just gross. He was terrible in bed. He just had nothing to offer. Like he was boring. I read about 2 or 3 books at a time because that's just who I am. And so I was like, "Hey, I'm reading this book right now. Like you said you read it before. Do you want to talk about it?" So you know what he does? He hands me a book and says, "Oh, I read this book 5 years ago. I want you to read it so we can talk about it." And I'm like, "What? What? You read this book 5 years ago? And now you want me to read it so we can talk about it? What? What a mess." And then on top of that,
Girl.
it was just this man was nuts. And on top of that, I suspect he was incredibly mentally ill and just trying to hide it and acting like he wasn't. And he made some comment about how women only want him for his salary. And I'm like, all right, we're done. We're done.
We're
Friendship
done
and
here,
all
sir.
out the window. We're done. He pulled in about $85,000 a year, roughly, before taxes. Before taxes. So only about 60, maybe 70,000. And he had never had any money because he was living in a house he couldn't afford, had a brand new car he could barely pay for. And then I found out after the fact that the only reason why he had this job that he wasn't qualified for was because he knew a guy who knew a guy who gave him the job.
Yeah. That
And
happens a lot. And so people who are qualified don't get hired.
Exactly.
Because
And
he did
then
a stupid
so
job.
at the end of the relationship, one of the bigger nails in the coffin was basically that he started talking crap about his ex-wife and basically said that he only agreed to do 50-50 custody to skirt paying alimony and child support. And I'm like, you're a POS, dude. We're done. We
Yeah.
are done because the person you portrayed yourself to be is not who you are. And so when men do this stuff, like they literally lie about who they are to get women into relationships with them. And then they're, shocked Pikachu face when the women realize that they're not what they said they are and dump them.
Right.
I'm not surprised he's divorced. He was boring. He couldn't hold a conversation. All he talked about was himself and his job and his military service that I think are all a bunch of
Yeah, he
lies.
looked at on Google.
And it was just a mess. And so I'm like, no, I'm trying to look for honesty here. Y'all want women to be honest and vulnerable and want women to open up to you and share your life, share their life with you. But you pull crap like this and think, but oh, my favorite part. Well, my ex-wife is a 2. I deserve a 10. Sir, you look like an old shoe. What are you talking about? You deserve a 10. You
Girl,
don't
wait.
deserve
Okay,
nothing.
now we got to ask you though. Okay, so you lost me once you said he was bad in bed. He would have got dumped on that alone.
Yeah, well, the thing
I'm
is,
not gonna suffer with that.
I
I'm not
realize
gonna.
that now because, like, I'm not the type of person to jump into bed right away with somebody. So we didn't sleep together for the first few months we were together, which was fine with me because
Right.
he was at least decent then. But once we started sleeping together, I was like, this is going to be over real quick. Our relationship lasted all of 6, maybe 7 weeks after we started
Okay.
sleeping together.
Okay. So he felt comfortable then, so he just let everything hang out.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let
And I
me
was
get
like, nope, we're
Sagittarius.
done.
I got another lady, but everybody can call back in. This is not you can only call one time thing because I
Yeah.
got a lot more stuff to go
Oh,
through
yeah,
today.
definitely.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
I'll get
you.
off.
Okay. Talk
Thanks.
to you later. Okay, Sag, it's your turn. What you got to say? You got to unmute your mic.
Hey, Miss Deb. Okay,
Hey.
so I wanted to start with the fact that women do not need men.
Yeah.
And they just never have. And the thing is, men chase women. And anytime there's a woman chasing a man, in my opinion, she's lost. And bless her heart. But
A
I've
little
noticed
confused child.
exactly, like poor thing. I hope she finds her way. But in my experience, men need to narcissistically belittle women in the area of romantic relationships. Like they need to have control, but they don't really bring much to the table if they're not providing provision. Emotionally, they don't have anything to offer, and women are emotional creatures. And so men have been socialized like in childhood to, bully the little girl that you have a crush on and things like that. And so when you're behaving like that towards children, like if a little boy is picking on a little girl, of course, being children, she might overcompensate and try to like gain his attention. But the thing is, that's not going to work forever. So we grow up and then we have options and see what used to work for these young boys no longer is working. And then, we're in an era where women are working, making money for themselves. We can have jobs, bank accounts, we can own our own homes. We don't really have a need for a man. And so they're sitting here expecting this very old behavior to work, and it's not. And I think it's really shaking them to their core.
Mm. Well, as we go through this slideshow, you will see exactly how psychically right you are. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, she tapped into it. You know that fire sign thing. She tapped into it. And it's just going to be interesting. Now, on the wall, before we go to the next slide, let me just remind everybody. On the wall, there's a link, and it says, what do you think about this young lady? Something like that on the community wall for the channel. And it is a link to I think it's TikTok video where this young lady was dating a guy who totally destroyed 2 of her vehicles. I mean, baseball broke everything, messed up the engine. I mean, just everything. And the surprising thing, and then plus he did something to her dog. She never found her little dog. And the thing is, after each of these incidents, she went back with him for some unknown reason. And I'm looking at that and thought, wow, it's a perfect example of what we're talking about here. He obviously brought nothing to the relationship. And girlfriend, I'm not talking about she was buying a new Toyota or Honda. I'm talking about Benzos, BMWs, Lexuses, and stuff. Okay, girlfriend has some money. Then she has started some business like a daycare center. She's pulling in $10,000 a month. My mother's daycare in San Francisco used to pull in more than that. I mean, it's if you got it going on or you can do the business, you can make a lot of money. But you have to be right because you're fully licensed and get inspected all the time and stuff like that. But it's like, so you can see the girl is like, she's an achiever. She's on the ball. She got her stuff together, at least financially and career wise. Where she was lost is emotionally. And I think it's some serious low self-esteem there, although she's able to channel it and do what she needs to do financially and socially. But when it comes to her private, intimate relationships, I don't know what happened. But if you get a chance, go and take a look at that and look at the devastation that this dude wrecked on this girl's cars. And then her poor little doggy. She had a picture of the little doggy. She never saw him again. So who knows what dude did. Okay, so let's move on back. Let's see, how do I do this? Okay, we're going to do it this way. Let's go to the next slide and talk about this. So then he says, and all of those women who say they don't need a man basically proves that they date men for in the first place is for financial stability. And then when they don't date men, they work and stay single. Okay, let's dip into this a little bit. Women, as we just discussed, aren't looking for a man to take care of them anymore. Only the women who don't have financial stability, like, the little baby mamas on Section 8 or whatever, they might be looking for somebody for financial stability. But a woman who's kicking it down and she's making, 80, 90, $120,000 a year, she's not looking for a man for financial stability. She's providing that for herself. What she's looking for a man is to enrich her life emotionally, to enrich her life with joy, with happiness, with peace of mind, with love, with commitment, with family, with laughter and happiness. That's what she's looking for him to provide. But if a man doesn't have the ability to do that, and he doesn't really understand the intrinsic value of those kind of things to women, he's not offering those things, she rejects him. He's going to try to make it it's her fault that he got rejected. Instead of looking at himself and saying, well, if I want to be in this woman's life, why would she pick me? Why would she choose me out of every man that she could have? That would be the better question for them to ask themselves. Why should she pick you? What are you bringing to her life? If she got money, like I said, she's not looking for you. A lot of these young girls, they already own their own home and everything. They don't live in the Bay Area, but they live in other states where it's more affordable. And so then he says, that's the reason why they date men is for financial stability. No, it's for the reason I just told you. For those intrinsic things that she cannot buy for herself and take care of for herself. But if you don't have those to offer, then yeah, you're going to try to blame it on something like that. And so then when they don't date men, they work and stay single. Well, that's what they're supposed to do. What do you think they're going to do? That's just a stupid statement to make. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I'll be looking for your comment now, maybe after this slide, because notice the ... There's a continuation of this paragraph, but I don't want to put too much on any one slide. Which proves my point even more. Women just use men. And if men don't have anything to give women, they ditch men because women don't like me. Okay, now listen to this twisted 5-year-old logic. Women just use men, and if men don't have anything to give women, they ditch men because women don't like men. No, women ditch you because you don't have anything to give her of the things I just said. Now, there are some women who do want men. They only like to date men with money. I'm not going to deny that there's women like that. There's men like that too. They call them gigolos. They like to quote pimp women. Okay. There's in both camps, there's people like that with that kind of mentality. They don't care about your personality. They don't care about nothing. Your kindness, your education, they don't care about anything. They care about how much money you have. Those are the women that will date some, pharmaceutical street pharmacists. Okay, because they have a lot of money, but they don't have nothing else going on. They have that though. They can take them shopping. Give them, they want to date rappers. They have to date sports figures. They want people with money. That's their main number one thing. Okay, for the dudes, they might want to always date models or women who are famous or women that have a lot of money. Okay, it's the same thing. So eliminating those people, that's not what most people get into a relationship for. Say that's 25%. That 75% of people are looking for something else. And if you don't have that to offer, then you will get passed over. And women will ditch you because just like Van Ely was talking about, the guy didn't offer her anything emotionally. He was a liar. And a lot of these dudes are cheaters. They leave the women emotionally wrecked. And so there's no reason if you're not giving her peace of mind and security in an emotional way and make her feel safe and loved and warmed and taken care of, she's not going to want to be with you. That's just the way it is. She's meeting all her base financial, her needs herself. What else you got? Okay. And he attributes that to because he doesn't have money and a woman doesn't want to date you because you don't have money. That means that she doesn't like men. No, she don't like broke men. Okay. There's a difference. Let us move on to the next one. So then he says, why do you think women say, I don't need a man? What do you think women are talking about when they say that phrase? Ladies, you put in time in you can call in or just type it in. You can just type it in and I'll put it across the screen. What does it mean when a woman says, I don't need a man? What do you think women are talking about when they say that phrase? What do you mean when you say that? I can tell you what I mean. It means I don't need you if you just come in with some drama, some baby mama drama, some money drama, some health issue drama, some, I don't know, whatever else kind of drama you got, instability, homelessness, all that kind of stuff. I don't have time for you. My life is so peaceful. By myself is peaceful. So if you're not bringing more peace, more joy, more happiness, you're going to elevate stuff in my life. If you're not able to do that, then that's why I don't need you. And to me, men have positioned things by the fact that they don't want to be providers for us to step up and do these things for ourselves. So men have created the very dynamic that they now want to cry about by being lazy bums. You don't even want to take a woman out for a date. So she takes herself out and doesn't want to be bothered with you. And then you mad. Well, that means she doesn't like men. No, it means that she's doing her thing because you don't want to take her out anyway. You don't want to pay. You want to go 50-50. So why get up and go somewhere with you when she could just go with her girlfriends and be guaranteed a good time if she's going to be paying anyway? Why should she interject you into that situation? These guys, is something wrong with them? Let me put a few comments across the screen before I go to the next one. You aren't entitled to women's affection nor her presence. Tell it, girl. And Anna says, I don't need a man who's not stable in all shapes and forms, not just financial. Girl, that is the truth, because these days, the mental illness is real. If you aren't making my life better, then I don't need you, boy. Bye. I can take care of myself with peace of mind. See, you in the same camp as me. That's what I say too. I want her to be my peace. Huh? Okay, I don't understand what that means. It means men take more than they give. That is the absolute honest to goodness truth. I'll do one or two more, then move on to the next one. Men don't provide love and friendship, so why not date for money? It's not like poor men are kinder to women. That's true. They be mad, especially if you have more than them. Let me see if there's something else. I'm scrolling down. The men that are emotionally unavailable. Oh, Tata, you done hit the nail on the head. Sagittarius, you back? You got a quick comment?
Yeah, I'm back. This was a good one. I couldn't pass it up. Okay, so I can only speak for what I mean. And so the thing for me is when I'm not dealing with men, um, I'm peaceful. Just like what you said, I'm also feeling a lot of peace. I'm stress free. I'm carefree. I don't have to worry about being disappointed. And men most of the time are disappointing in many ways, when it comes to finances, sex wise, emotionally, and having your emotions ignored or neglected by somebody you're trying to pour into is just not a good feeling. And I feel like women, we're constantly pouring into men and we're not getting anything back. And then to add on to that, the average man is not very attractive. I've been on dating apps, and from what I've seen, it makes me want to log out and just never try ever again. And and the thing is,
Log off.
yeah, like I tried eHarmony once, and when I tell you, I wanted my money back. I was very upset. They were like, Miss Deb, I don't even know where to begin. But the
Girl, you
thing
don't have to
is,
tell me. I told my eHarmony story on the show a couple of times ago, a couple of weeks, whatever, shows back. And
yeah,
I was like, what in the world?
yeah, it's hard out here. But basically, the thing is, they like to talk trash about women being ugly, not looking up to par, being overweight or whatever. And the thing is, even on the side of women who are not traditionally attractive, they don't hold a candle to these beastly men.
God, I'm be
And
looking like Shrek.
right. And so the thing is, and also they talk about women hitting the wall. Stop it. They run into the wall full speed. And so the thing is, being unmarried on a dating app or being single as a woman, you have to live in the meantime. So you found a way to survive. It doesn't matter how you're surviving because they like to judge your occupation too. My thing is, if my bills are being paid, I'm eating, before I met you, I don't really necessarily need you now. And so the thing is, what can you bring other than disappointment? And that's where they're missing it. And then the thing is, if they do have the financial aspect to bring, they don't want to do that either. They don't want to be used. They don't want you to take half of what they have or whatever. And the thing is, we really don't need you. We've been surviving this far.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
Girl, tell it. Okay. Yeah, she's right. Not just surviving, but thriving. Like I said, the statistics are very clear. And the reports that I've been reading for the last few weeks, starting with Greg Matos and then going on to what we talked about. What's this guy, Gregory something? And then the guy who wrote the book about, boys, men being in crisis. Um, these are all white guys and they're, quite educated. They're professional in their field, doctors. And these are their research. This is their results of their research on men in current society. Who am I to argue? I'm just reporting the studies. That's all I'm doing. So let's move on. So we talked about that. What women mean when they say, what men women say when what women mean rather when we say I don't need a man. Okay, so here's what he says. He says what they mean is they don't want a man as a provider, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to provide for yourself. But in saying that, you're telling men that you don't like them for who they are as a person and that you only date them because they can give to you. Didn't he just say that women only want men for their money? How is it that we don't want a man as a provider, which means we don't want you for your money? And so, but so now you're saying it's okay to be provided for yourself, but you still want to complain because now you're saying that men, because we don't want you to provide for us because we're providing for ourselves. We want you to provide other things. That means that we don't like who you are as a person and we only dating because we can give it to you. Little boy, let me explain to you, if you're not giving us nothing of the things that the women said here, emotional support, emotional stability, emotional safety, physical safety. That means we don't have to worry about you pummeling on us or anything. You're not going to be bringing home some dreadful virus or whatever because you've been dipping on the side somewhere else. These are kind of things, psychological safety. You're not bringing those things. You think it's okay to cheat, to slide into people's DMs and say, present yourself as you're single all over the internet and try to be on dating sites and doing all kind of other egregious things. And you think that a woman, after having been through that one time, sees somebody else coming along and you still not offering her nothing. She's supposed to try to patch something together for a relationship with you just so that you can be happy and feel needed. She doesn't need you. What you have to do is if you see a woman and you know she got her stuff together and she really doesn't need you, what you gonna do to try to make her need you? What need does she have that only you can fill? That's the work right there. But y'all are so lazy, you don't want to do any work. You think you just gonna sit there with your hands behind your head like this, and that some girls just gonna slide into your life and into your bed and just make your life all joyful and wonderful without you having to lift a finger. It doesn't work like that, sir. Oh my goodness. Suddenly I got a headache. Okay, so let's move on to more of his rant. So then he says, and what makes me mad is not that you want to provide for yourself, but the very fact that you just want us for resources and don't want us as a person. You don't want us for our flaws or anything that doesn't involve status or power. Okay, please. Okay, do you go to the grocery store and spend your hard-earned money, use up your gas to get there, and then go in there to buy flawed merchandise? You happily put the half rotted fruit, the bruised apples, the dented cans, the swollen up bottles and packages where you know the stuff is rotting inside. Do you get the chicken that has green spots on it? Do you get the smelly steak with green and gray colors? Do you get the stuff with flaws? The dozen eggs that's cracked and some, what the milk that's expired. I mean, who gets the flawed thing intentionally? Where'd they do that at? Little boy, you sound silly right about now. I don't know what is wrong with you. I don't know how old this child is, but it's like, dude, you're not thinking. Nobody wants flawed anything. We don't want it. We don't want that. If we already have it at home, guess what? We're throwing it out because we don't want that either. Nobody wants flawed anything. Now, once you accept that, if you're going to go to the store and buy rotted fruit and all that kind of stuff, that's on you. But where they do that at? You know who gets that kind of stuff? People who are starving and don't have any other option, and they go and dumpster dive. There's plenty of people that do that. They're really on their they desperate for food and stuff. They dumpster dive and they get, the outdated stuff and it expired like that day or whatever. They take it home and they use it. Again, desperate and on their last leg. There's women like that. And that if that's, you probably could go find one that would take you in with all your flaws and your lack of status and your lack of power and your lack of money. Let you live in her Section 8 apartment and let you share her food stamps. She probably would do that. Is that the kind of woman you want? Because, she got some major flaws, but you can match them with your flaws and y'all might be all right. Be the flaw couple. Mr. and Mrs. Flawed. So then he comes up with his solution. This is his solution to the problem, he says. Yeah, flaws. Pfft. How about this? If you really love a man, date him for him and not because he has a good paying job or because he's good at getting a bunch of girls or because he's the talk of the town. Stop using men and treat men like human beings. Okay, first of all, if he don't have no job, that means he don't have no money. So guess what? Who's not going to date him, period? So you talking about if you love a man, how would you love him if you never date him because he doesn't have anything that meets your standards of someone that you want to date? I'm making $150,000 a year. Why would I go and get with an unemployed man who just sits around playing video games all day and I'm supposed to love him because he deserves to be treated like a human being? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? How's that benefiting me to have some broke dusty living off of my money? Why would I do that? I don't need a house husband. I could hire, a maid come in once or twice a week to do that. Cheaper. She's probably do a better job. You don't have to deal with her wanting nothing. Yeah, notice how he put this. If you really love a man, date him for him. But how am I going to love somebody who's like a bum? In my eyes, there's no one that I can respect or admire, like I said at the top of the show. That is one of the chief things that women need, a man that they can respect. If you don't have no money, you don't have no job, you don't have no education, you don't have no conversation, you don't offer any emotional support, you don't offer any joy, you don't offer any happiness, you don't even offer any laughs, your sex game is whack. So, you looking at all those things as like negatives. What in the world would she date you for? And why would she fall in love with you when you ain't offering her nothing? You're going to get treated like a human being over there somewhere by somebody else, not me. Don't be mad. Instead, look at yourself. What are you doing to make yourself marketable to women? This is on you, dudes. All you dudes complaining like this about how women don't want you. What are you doing to change yourself, to better yourself, to become a better man, to compete with the men who the women do want, right? Instead of getting mad at the women for not wanting you, figure out how you can compete with the men that women do. Look at those dudes and then model yourself after them, and then you can get women. That's what normal people do. Instead, you want to complain because, once again, you want something for nothing. You want it to just fall in your lap without you putting forth any effort or even lifting a finger. It's not like that in the real world. Your mommy might have let you get away with that, but guess what? Unless you plan to live with her for the rest of your life, I don't know what to tell you. That's a fantasy and it's not going to happen. Okay? Yeah, they don't think they should change, but they're going to have to. You know what's going to happen? Either men will become extinct because nobody wants you and they won't be having babies and no more men will be born and that's just a bit to be. It'll just be like that. Or you're going to have to get with the program. Women are not going to go backwards in spite of all the laws you try to put in place to take away Roe v. Wade and all this kind of stuff. You think it's going to stop women from getting a termination? Think again. It just won't be legal, but it's still going to happen. Ain't nobody be having your raggedy ass baby. Let's move on to the next one. So then he says, now he's talking again. I said this when I was reading it through the first time. He's referencing a quote that's in the original video that this comment was posted under about alpha women. So he says the man writing this quote about women doesn't know women. He's a female worshiper because he wants to pamper a woman and work for her and give her free things. That's not a man being in control of a woman. In fact, that's the total opposite. That's putting women in control because he has to bribe her to keep her around. So he feels like a man who steps out to step up and do what men are supposed to do, protect and provide, that what man doing that is a female worshiper and that he's bribing a woman to keep her around. No, he's giving her what she needs to feel secure and safe. That's what he's doing. You, on the other hand, are going to stay single forever because you just don't even understand what's going on with women, what women's needs are. You are the kind of dudes that want women to want what you want them to have versus what they want. See, that's the issue here. You want women to want what you want them to want. And they don't. And they never will. When a man is working to take care of his woman and his family as a provider for his household and his home and everyone in his home, which might include like his aging widowed mother or his aging widower dad or his wife's widower parents or, a lot of times, there's another generation in the household that's helping raise the children that the man is also taking care of, grandparents usually. So he's taking care of all of those people. Sometimes the wife works full-time or part-time while these seniors take care of the home and the kids. Sometimes, the wife stays home and she has to take care of that person too because they're not in the best of health along with her children. So, but that man is putting it down and he's taking care of everybody under his roof, under his spread of protection as a man. His wife respects him. His mother respects him. His father respects him. His kids respect him. You instead want to say that he's bribing her to keep her around. You are from a different generation, sir, where you don't even understand what manhood is. You think that it's all about, complaining and that's going to get you what you want. No woman respects a man who bitches and moans all the time. It's too feminine. It's too girly, and it imparts an image of you as being weak, spineless, girly, no backbone, without a direction and purpose in life. So you are presenting yourself as no one a woman would ever respect. I just want to tell you about yourself so you can understand from our perspective. I suggest that you also read the comments if you get a chance. Read the comments over here that these women are saying. The age ranges for the audience in the show range from early 20s to late 40s. Somewhere, most women are in between like the 25 to 40 age group. So, they're in the dating pool, or maybe some of them are married or whatever, but still they have some good insight on men that would be beneficial to you who are looking to improve your lot and finally get you a girlfriend or a wife. You have to understand what you need to do as a man. If your daddy didn't teach you, you didn't go into the service, or you didn't have any sergeants or captains teaching you. Your uncles dipped out, your grandfather was trash. So here you are trying to figure out manhood all by yourself. All I can tell you is you must be surrounded by people who will tell you what manhood is not. You can use that as a jump off point. On this channel, there are several videos about manhood, the kind of qualities and characteristics that you should strive to have. Where do those come from? My father. So don't be thinking, well, women can't tell men how to be a man. My dad is a man, okay, a solid one. He handled everything. And these are things that he says are qualities of manhood. So listen, I be talking to my brothers, I'm teaching them to you, because my brothers don't do social media. They're like, that's for girls. I don't think they even have. I set up a Facebook page for my brother's law firm. I think he even goes on it, but my brothers are not into social media at all. They're never on it. No Twitter, nothing. So I'm sharing it as a representative of my family. Okay. But those things come from my dad. So let's move on. So he's complaining still about the guy who made the comment. And he says, this man loves women, and most men are female worshipers. They will do anything to get the girl. And if that means bribing women and building status and trashing other men to get the girl, that's what guys will do. Okay. Jim Doll, shut up. She say he moist. I'm not positioned to argue, because there's definitely something going on there of a menstrual nature. Okay. Just, dude, you so off. It's just not even funny. So, okay. But first he says he's trashing the dude because he's a female worshiper. And now he's saying most men are female worshipers. Well, if they're female worshipers, then why are you complaining about them worshiping females and having to take care of women and all that to get with them? What woman wants to have a family with a man who doesn't want to take care of his children? I mean, I know there's some out there, but is that really what she wants? I mean, did she potentially go out looking for that? Was that her childhood dream, to have kids by a dusty bum? I doubt it. Some women, the dudes hide who they are, and then some women just really don't have the skills to really screen guys and really understand what constitutes dustiness and what constitutes respectful manhood. They don't know. They didn't have an example growing up, and so they have no idea either, just like you don't. Okay. After the next slide, I'll ask you guys if you have some more comments. This is the link you click this be on. Let's do this one more slide, and we'll open it up. And he says, but honestly, I respect a woman more who works for herself and says that she doesn't need a man because she's, number one, honest, and number two, she doesn't want to bum off a man. Does it suck that women don't like men and only get with men when he can provide things for her? Yes, but it's better for women to tell men how terrible they are as human beings than to use them and lie to them by saying that they don't love men when they don't. Oh, so they love men when they don't. That's how women are. So these are these two sides of one paragraph. But I honestly respect a woman more who works for herself and says that she doesn't need a man because she's, one, honest, and two, doesn't want to bum off of a man. Okay, well, if you respect all that, then what is all this long post whining and complaining for? You're going to summarize it by saying you respect it. Oh, you spent all these paragraphs complaining about a woman who says she doesn't need a man. And now at the end, now you say you respect it. You dude are so confused. He's so confused. He says, but does it suck that women don't like men and only get with men when he can provide things for her? Yes, but it's better for women to tell men how terrible they are as human beings than to use them and lie to them by saying that they love men when they don't. That's how women are. Women will say that to a particular man because they love him, right? Now, as we pointed out, men will tend to disappoint women. When you're in an ongoing relationship with them, or you don't even have to be that long into it, a couple of months. You guys will do something, say something, behave in some kind of way, fall down on the job, not do what you're supposed to do, make promises you don't keep. Something is going to, you tend to do stuff that disappoints her. You can do stuff that makes her give you the side eye. You do things that make her not trust you. You do things that make her question you and be doubtful about, are you being real with her? So there's no need for her to tell you how horrible you are. You already know when you was doing them things and saying them. You knew it was some stuff that you weren't supposed to do and say. You knew this, but you did it anyway. So don't be surprised then when she leaves you, because you did that. You made that choice. You didn't honor and respect her or your relationship. So she left, especially if you know that you ain't good horizontally. You guys don't type stuff. I'm trying to keep this PG. You're not good horizontally, and you know this, and you don't go see a doctor or do something about it to improve the situation. So you be more than a 30-second man, 1-minute man, like the song says. That's not going to work, sir. No matter how much money you give her and how much other stuff, if you're not putting it down and you trying to keep her, like, you know, from cheating and stuff in a long-term relationship, you have to be able to satisfy all her needs. If you can't do that for whatever reason, you're going to have problems with your relationship. I don't know what you want to say. Yeah, horizontal or vertical, well, you know, whatever. But, you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to be delicate here. But you got a grown woman and you ain't delivering the goods. It's not going, your relationship is not going to last long. That's all I'm going to say. So anybody got any comments? I think that was it. Yes, this is the last slide. So now it's like time for questions or comments. Questions or comments on what we just talked about on this young man's rant about women not wanting men and men being mad about it. Men feeling entitled to women's energy and time and a relationship with them. I tried to explain to him as best I could, as did you, that you're not entitled to anything. And that if you want a woman, especially in today's current society, where women are making such leaps and bounds and strides ahead of men, you're going to have to catch up. You're going to have to give her something that she's not able to give herself. If you cannot do that, then, sir, realistically, she has no reason to be with you. You say you want someone to take you with your flaws. Well, when someone's just getting to know you, people have, stringent lists of stuff that they're not going to tolerate. And if you have your flaws fall on that list, you very well may be rejected. Now, if you start to get a flaw after she's already married to you and it's a new flaw, well, then she might still stay. But in the dating phase where people are trying to screen you for whether they're going to go to the next step with you or not, and you present flaws of a nature that they don't want to be bothered with, then they're going to cut you from the roster. And that's just the way it is. Let's see what Sunday got to say. Yes, that's my interpretation. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, he probably wouldn't admit that, but that's what it seems like to me. Because, he ragged on the women for wanting something. And then he ragged on the men for the men who do give it to the women. He ragged on them too. So the only thing that we can surmise from all of that is he doesn't meet either one of those criteria. And so he just mad. He just mad. He just mad. He just mad. He mad at everybody. Oh, I do. Thank you, Tata. I'll go back and scroll up. I was spreading my mouth. Yes. Oh, she got jokes. She got jokes. That was funny. Let me go up and see the super chats. So I guess I missed them. Oh, that's right. I've said hers, but I didn't show it. Yeah. I'm scrolling, trying to find it. Okay, here's one too. Happily single for 6 years. Girl, ain't it the best? I mean, if my husband had stayed alive, I probably would have stayed with him, but probably. Yeah, that's true because I think a lot of women get all kinds of weird, things going on from men who don't keep themselves as clean as they should. I always keep a nail brush in my bathroom so, people can scrub their nails. Because, little bits of grime and bacteria and stuff be festering in those nails. And if people don't take baths where they soak in it, has the opportunity to, you know, to get out, it can create a problem. She says there's plenty of women that want these dorks. They want the baddies, though. That's the problem. You're right. Because even if they're 2 or 3, they think they deserve like an 11 teen, especially if they have some little Mickey Mouse job. Oh boy, it's just real. Oh, okay. Y'all is just comedy at this point. She said this guy's loss was all over the place. Yeah, he was. He was so back and forth and back and forth. I seemed like he was like somebody said he probably should have wrote in his diary because he was having it's like he was arguing with himself because he started off his argument with one position and by the time he got to the end, he was in the opposite camp. Totally understanding and supporting the women being independent from men and not needing men. So I'm like, okay, dude, what are you talking about? What it sounds like he needs to do is just figure out how to get himself in a trade school and, you know, increase his romantic market value. Maybe get a haircut, hit some steel, build up his body or something, lose weight, gain weight. I mean, I don't know what he looks like, but there's something here that is making women not really, give him the second glance. I don't know what it is. He didn't, he could have emailed me a picture, then I would know. But we just got to guess because, to me, like even average looking dudes, if they have a great personality, it can make women laugh and women are happy to be around them. They don't have to have a lot of money. I mean, he has to be employed, but he doesn't have to be like baller, and he doesn't have to be, Mr. Fashion Magnet. He doesn't have to be Mr. Fine Body like The Rock or anything like that. He just has to, be a nice looking dude. Where when she looks at him, she's like, oh, he's cute. Cute is good. Okay, if your lady says that you're cute when you first meet her, and that's enough for her to talk to you, bet you work at it. You got it. You got an opportunity. Everyone will love them unconditionally, and science says that single women live longer. So I understand why they're still yapping about us. Well, they don't know true. They don't know either. It's just a question. Is it true that women reach menopause earlier if they are not having eggplant? No, because there's women that have to go through menopause in their 20s. There's women who have husbands at home, so they busy in that regard, that go through it in their 40s, and there's some that don't go like until they're in their 50s. It just depends. It just depends. A lot of it also depends on diet, because there's foods that are what they call estrogenic. It makes like a plant estrogen. It's not the same estradiol or something. I can forget how to pronounce it. It's not the same, but it definitely, helps with the hormone balances. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, my brothers, I think, all 3 of them, they have no interest in it. Just none. I mean, I tell them my stories. Oh my God, let me tell you all what happened. And they be rolling their eyes and like, oh my God, that just sounds stupid. Who are these clowns talking about the guy? Who are these clowns that be on the internet spending all that time? What kind of books do they be reading? I said, I don't know. They don't sound like they do too much of anything. I mean, they, they have hobbies. They have interests. One of my brothers has been into Kung Fu and stuff since he was like in middle school. So he's always at the dojo and wherever, doing all this stuff and practicing and everything and in competitions and winning belts and whatnot. trophies and stuff. And then my other brother, he's an attorney and his stuff, he likes to travel. And my other brother likes to build wood stuff like my dad. He learned, carpentry and stuff, and he makes beautiful stuff out of wood. So, my brother, they gonna disappear into their workshop, disappear into the dojo, disappear into on somebody's airplane. That's what they do. They're not gonna be on social media. They're enriching their lives in the lives of other people when they do. I don't understand it. Dear M, I wrote to you, but you still ain't calling. I left my number on my page. Maybe you just ain't get it. Oh my God. Sounds like he might be socially awkward. Well, he wouldn't be the only one. I mean, we see a lot of that these days. These dudes with, ADHD, they on the spectrum somewhere. They don't really understand or they don't catch nuances of different things. It's over their head. So they, mistakenly think that a girl who talks to them or smiles at them means that she's in love with them, or, that she likes him or something. They practically become a stalker because a woman smiled at them. Or, the regular dudes who the lady is trying to flirt and they don't get it either. So I don't know. Men are just interesting. There's a shortage of carpet. Yeah. Well, he was one of the ones I mentioned when I said that he and his partner tried to have, because he has like a side business, tried to get some young kids in the neighborhood in so they could teach them the trade. And he was going to do it for free. They're donating their time, like while they were working, teaching the kids, letting them build some stuff from the scrap wood, this kind of stuff for their homes and whatnot. They're going to teach them, let them use the tools, teach them how to do everything, get them the goggles, get them what they needed, so they could do it safely. And the kids showed up. These are teenage boys now, 17, 18 years old, 19, not little kids. And they didn't want to go to college. And so they're like, well, they worked out with their parents. Well, I'll teach them this and that. So their parents sent them over there. Dropped out after 2 weeks. Okay, by the third week, we'll say 1 month, because I forget the detail. There was a couple of them, but just say by a month went by, they were all just, it was too hard. They didn't want to do it. So he's like, forget these clowns. We have a confession. I'm not proud of this, but I met a guy online and he looked decent in his pics. But I pulled into the parking lot where we were meeting and I saw him and I made a sharp U-turn. Girl, what, did he put up an old picture like 40 pounds ago or something? People say that's what folks do a lot. Wow. Yeah. They're not interested in other things. And this whole thing about it, if you've never done those other things, how do you know you're not interested in it? That's the part that drives me crazy. Until you try something new, even food. I mean, how do you know that you don't like it if you've never tried it? I don't understand. Yes, Hunte. Yeah, any of that. And you can kind of tell by how they, I don't know, you get the vibes that something's like something going on there. I don't know what, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to diagnose it, but if I have to say something to you and you don't get it, I'm pretty much done. I don't feel like having to explain my jokes. Why is it that human males don't want to compete like every other male in nature does? Male lions, bulls, stallions, owls, eagles, bears, whales, dogs, deer, penguins even, all fight for breeding rights. I don't know. Maybe they want to be like the dodo bird and be extinct. But if by them not doing these kind of things that produce testosterone in their body, scientists say that their testes and other parts are shrinking. Because it's not being used, but because the whole capacity of males doing physical labor, and doing some of that before they reach adolescence, so that when puberty hits, their work already doing muscle mass things, building activities. So these boys sitting around playing video games and stuff, They're going to be crying when they're adults because they just going to be like little pee-pee instead of, something that somebody might want to look at. So, if you got sons, make them hit some steel, make them do some exercise, make them run, let's do something, garden, mow the lawn, make them do stuff. They need to do physical labor. You got sons before that puberty hits, they need to get some muscle mass on them. They need that so that they can fully develop their bodies so that when they're adult males, some woman might be happy to be with them instead of like, oh my God, is that all there is? You would have done that, parents. You would have done that. Oh, wait, what she say? She giving dirt. He was 50 pounds heavy, his clothes were unkempt, his hair looked like he had just rolled out of bed. Oh my God. And he had the nerve to be trying to go on a date looking like that. Girl, I'm so glad you peeped that out before you got out the car, because you would have had to then run. Yeah. Yeah, they were very disappointed because my dad was teaching them and he taught some of the other little boys in the neighborhood and all this. I mean, he used to take them around and paint. I would go too. That's why I'm like one of the few women I know who knows how to sheetrock and tape a wall. I learned that from my father because we had apartment buildings. That was our family business. And everybody had to work. And then when I got a little bit older, I was like, I don't want to do this. It's going to break my nails and get stuff in my hair. And so, I had learned how to type by then. So then I would type lease agreements, eviction papers, notices for that people, that the place was going to get entered into for repairs or inspection, that kind of stuff. I helped them with that kind of paperwork and stuff. Kept all the files, created files for the tenants, so I kind of worked like an assistant and stuff. And I was like 14, but, it was a family business. I'm seeing some people that are laughing a lot going on here. What's like over here? What's Winnie got to say? Say no to struggle of girl. Yes, that is the best thing a woman could ever say. Say no to struggle of. The main thing is here, and we're going to talk about this on the show that I'm going to do whenever I decide to do it. Where we're going to be talking about dealing with teenage girls, how to get through to adolescent girls. Boundaries. Teaching little girls boundaries, teaching them that it's okay to have standards, it's okay to say no, and it's okay to reject people that don't meet your standards, whether they be male or female, just platonic friends or romantic partners. It doesn't matter. If they don't meet your standards or they violate your boundaries in any way, we have to give our girls the tools to know how to deal with that. To me, that is a large part of the problem why these girls get into relationships with knuckleheads, because they feel like anybody that pays attention to them, they should date him. He, quote, deserves a chance. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He does not deserve anything. He hasn't earned it. And you don't give it to him. Your name ain't EEOC. You tripping. I wish I would. Yeah, they all mushy and stuff. There's nothing worse than when you go to hug a man, right? He got on a shirt because, dudes wear them like kind of baggy shirts and stuff. I mean, that's fine, whatever. They wear the baggy shirt. And, it could be a linen shirt. I mean, it could be a nice shirt. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like a, what you call it, jersey. But he like, oh, to give you a hug, right? You wrap your arms around him and you feel meat. You don't feel hardness and muscle. You feel pudge. Oh, that turns me off like 9,000. If anybody gonna have some pudge, it should be me. And even I don't have that much. I mean, more than I used to, but you shouldn't be hugging a man and feeling pudge. Okay? It should not feel meaty around his back and waist. If he got all that going on, he don't have no abs, he don't have no back, he don't have no low back muscles and stuff, he don't have no shoulders, and you feeling just spongy pudge. That's gross. I can't do that. I was like that before I became a trainer, but even after, you used to be around men that care about their bodies and go and they work out and stuff. And we're talking about even men in their 60s and 70s used to go to the gym and would look good. Okay. I'm used to seeing that. And then you come with some guy and he's only like 40 or something and he's got pudge. and he just like a gut, and he just looked a hot mess. I'm not trying to deal with you like that. You on the track to a heart attack. I'm not trying to be the one who can be taking care of you. Ugh. Okay, what you talking about? Yeah, he was. You right in Watson. Giggles are stupid. It's like I feel like a girl, but yes, it does feel like that. It does. Just pudge. Just pudge. Meat. Ugh. Men should not be meaty. Okay. Men are supposed to be lean, mean machines. Okay. You a dude and you got pudge on you. Get yourself to the nearest gym and put them donuts and stuff, fried chicken down, and all them greasy burgers and stuff. Eat some salads and some fruit and exercise every day. Get rid of that stuff. And then somebody might want to look at you. Who's sitting up there looking like Shrek and stuff? I'm telling you, I can't hold. I cannot. I can't. One had no hair. He had a horseshoe hairline. That's what I call it. The other one, scalp. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was just me. Oh, oh my goodness. Yep, they can't do basic things. Yep, they don't have it. They don't even ask them, what's a socket wrench? They don't even know. I had a whole toolbox, but it got stolen. It used to be my dad's. Somebody stole it, broke in my storage thing and took it. Yeah, they can afford gas, but that's their priority. It's the estrogen. I hear there's a lot of estrogen in fast food, in the meats that they use. My online dating stories, well, not today. Let's talk about that when we do our next small talk, which will be in a couple of weeks. Just remind me then, and I'll talk about it because I decided I like those. It's just kind of a free for all. We just talk about stuff. But I know everybody's got to go to work tomorrow. So we'll end this, but I'm hoping that the young man who posted that comment gets a chance to watch and listen to this and becomes enlightened. And any other young man who's listening to this who believes like he does, that somehow women owe you something, that a woman saying that she doesn't need a man is somehow there's something wrong with her instead of with you, who she doesn't perceive as someone that she needs. And you, if you want her, have to look at her and figure out what it is that she doesn't have that you can give her that she can't provide for herself. If you can't do that and you can't think of anything, then that means that she's either not the girl for you or you not the man for anybody. Because when a woman is providing for herself, for her own basic needs, for survival, like food, housing, her vehicle, she has her own job, she's putting clothes on her back, food in her stomach, she's providing for her own needs. What you gonna come in with is something that she can't provide for herself, which is emotional support, mental encouragement, and feelings of safety, both emotionally, physically, and mentally. If you can't provide those things for a woman in a relationship, then she has no reason to be with you. And that's what you will hear from her is, I don't need a man. And she's not meaning like any man. She means you. Okay. But she's you saying, I don't need a man, meaning you're behind. Okay. I don't need you because what you offering ain't my flavor. And what you ain't talking about nothing that's going to appeal to me. That's what she means when she says, I don't need a man. And I'm glad we got a chance to kind of discuss that. I want to thank everybody for your contributions to the discussion and for everyone who listened in on the surprise Monday night pop-up, because I haven't done a pop-up for a minute, huh? But yeah, it was a last minute kind of thing. But I was inspired by seeing his comment, and I wanted to address it. It's too much for me to say in a comment on the wall. And for some people, they might not see it unless they go to that particular video, which is kind of old, 2018. But I think doing it this way, it will kind of focus on the issues better. And it gives everyone an opportunity to respond to it and everyone to see it. And it'll be right up front and center for people, any other young man who's searching around trying to figure out why women say that they don't need men and what a woman is really looking for in a relationship. These modern women got it going on. They're not looking for you to be the breadwinner. I mean, it's nice if you can be, so she can relax and have your children and stuff and not have to worry about money. That makes it really nice. But does she need you to do that? The answer is no. So you figure out what else she needs, and then you give it to her, and you two will be very happy together. Okay? So that's what I got to say on this lovely Monday night. I will see you guys again here tomorrow at 6 for What the Fuck Tuesday. That's still on. The advice column, that stream that we do every week. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that subscription button before you go and an instant notification bell so that you get notice of when the shows are scheduled or when we start up the live stream, in case you need a reminder. Okay? I forget sometimes myself. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock sharp Pacific. That's 9 on the East Coast. See you then. Bye.